The town of Brookside was known for its quiet evenings, soft winds rustling through maple trees, and neighbors who waved from porches. But one day the town found itself buzzing with tension as a case unfolded in the old courthouse at the center of town. At the center of this case was a little girl named Emily Carter, a shy 8-year-old with big brown eyes and long, straight hair that she often nervously tucked behind her ears. Emily was known for being gentle and incredibly attached to her golden retriever, Max. To most, Max was just a well-behaved family dog. But to Emily he was much more: her friend, her comfort, her silent protector. For months, Emily had been quieter than usual. Her teachers noticed she avoided certain conversations. Her mother, Claire, noticed Emily was afraid to be alone in certain rooms. And the neighbors whispered when they saw Emily walking outside at dusk with Max pressed against her side. Something was wrong. But Emily wouldn't talk, not in words at least. The case began when Emily's father, Daniel Carter, was accused of wrongdoing in the home. No one knew the full truth. Some believed Daniel was strict but loving. Others felt something darker hid behind his calm smile. Emily's mother, desperate to understand, turned to professionals, teachers, and even the authorities. But every time Emily was asked what happened, she froze. She didn't cry. She didn't look scared. She simply stared at Max. The courtroom, on the day everything changed, was full of reporters, neighbors, and officials. The judge, a stern woman with glasses perched carefully on her nose, asked question after question. But Emily remained silent. Her father sat across the room, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Her mother sat behind her, hands trembling in her lap. Emily held Max's leash, the golden retriever sitting calmly beside her legs, breathing steadily as if he knew his purpose. The prosecutor asked Emily simple questions first. Her name, her age, her favorite color. Emily answered quietly, one-word responses. The courtroom's atmosphere softened slightly. Everyone could see she was scared but trying. Then came the questions that weighed heavily over everyone's chest. Emily, can you tell us if something happened at home? Can you tell us what you've been trying to show us? Silence. Emily looked down. Her shoes small and scuffed. Her hands clenched around Max's leash. Her heart raced. She could feel everyone's eyes pressing onto her tiny shoulders. Then the prosecutor stepped back and nodded to a woman sitting nearby, a certified therapy dog expert who had worked with Emily privately. Before the trial, she addressed the judge and explained that Emily communicated through signals with Max, a private language she called it, a way Emily expressed emotions she could not voice. The courtroom shifted uneasily. Daniel's lawyer objected, claiming theatrics, claiming manipulation. But the judge allowed it, sensing there was something more, something delicate and carefully held together. The woman knelt beside Emily, speaking softly. Emily, sweetheart, remember the signals you taught Max? If something bad happened, Max knows what to do, right? Emily's eyes lifted slowly. She looked at Max. Not the judge, not the lawyers, not even her mother. Max looked back, calm, loyal, unwavering. Yes, she whispered. The crowd leaned forward. The room seemed to stop breathing. Emily, the woman continued, if what happened to you made you scared, can you show Max the signal? Emily swallowed hard. Her father shifted in his seat. Her mother held her breath to stop herself from crying. And then, very gently, as if afraid the motion would break her completely, Emily raised her hand. It was a small gesture, soft, almost invisible. But Max responded instantly, and that was what mattered. Max, who had been sitting upright, suddenly lowered his head and placed both front paws over Emily's feet. The courtroom reacted, a ripple of whispers, a gasp, a stifled cry. The therapy expert nodded sadly. That was the signal Emily had taught Max when she was too afraid to say she had been hurt. The signal was the truth. Daniel's jaw tightened, but his face remained stone. The prosecutor stepped closer, voice firm but gentle. Emily, did your father hurt you? Emily didn't look at him. She looked only at Max. Max kept his paws on her feet. Emily nodded once, small, fragile, but unmistakable. The room broke. Her mother sobbed. The judge struck her gavel for order, but her voice shook. The silence that followed was heavy and full of realization. Daniel rose to protest, but the officers had already moved toward him. The truth had been spoken without a word. As Daniel was escorted out, Emily held Max tightly, burying her face into his fur. The courtroom saw not just a frightened child, but a brave one who had spoken the only way she could. And the world began to understand that sometimes the strongest voices are the quietest, and sometimes a loyal heart on four legs can reveal truths no voice can carry. Alone, after the trial, the world changed for Emily and her mother. The quiet house felt lighter now, as if the walls themselves were relieved to finally breathe again. But healing was not instant. Healing took time, gentle, patient time. Emily's days began with slow mornings. She would sit in the backyard beneath the old oak tree, Max lying beside her, watching butterflies drift lazily through sunbeams. Her mother would bring her warm tea and sit nearby, not asking questions, just being there. That presence was enough. In school, Emily was greeted differently. Some kids avoided her, unsure how to act. Others looked at her with sympathy, which made her uncomfortable. Only her best friend Lily treated her the same as always, sliding into the seat beside her at lunch and talking about silly things like why pizza day should be every day and how the swings at the park were definitely shrinking. Lily never commented on the courtroom. She didn't need to, and Emily was grateful for that. Meanwhile, Max became somewhat of a local hero. The story traveled across the town, then across the state, and eventually it reached national news. People admired him as the dog who helped a little girl speak the truth. But to Emily, Max was just Max, the dog who slept beside her bed every night, who nudged her when she felt overwhelmed, who listened without needing explanations. Emily and her mother attended therapy together. Their therapist, Dr. Rhodes, encouraged Emily to speak slowly about her emotions, but she never pushed too hard. Sometimes Emily just drew pictures. Sometimes she played with models. Sometimes she sat silently. All of it was valid. All of it was healing. Months passed. Spring turned to summer, and gradually Emily began to reclaim herself. She smiled more. She laughed. She ran barefoot in the grass with Lily. She learned how to bake cookies with her mom, though she often got flour everywhere, making Max sneeze. They were small things, but small things can be miracles when life has been dark. Then one day, a letter arrived from the courthouse. Emily and her mother had been invited to speak at a community awareness event, something designed to help other children find safety and support. Her mother was unsure if Emily should do it. The memory of the trial, the crowd, the pressure, it had all been so heavy. But Emily surprised her. She nodded. "I want to help someone else," she said quietly. So they went. The event was held in a bright auditorium filled with parents, teachers, counselors, and children. Max wore a vest that labeled him a support dog, though Emily still saw him simply as her Max. Emily stood on stage, her mother beside her and Max sitting patiently at her feet. The crowd waited. Emily took a breath. Her hands trembled slightly, but she didn't hide them. She didn't shrink. She looked at Max, and Max looked at her back, calm and steady. "I couldn't talk before," she began, her voice small but clear. "I was scared. I didn't know how to say things that hurt inside. But Max understood me. I made him signals, and he helped say the truth when I couldn't." Some people in the audience quietly wiped at their eyes. Emily continued, "If you are scared, or if something is wrong, you can tell someone, even if you don't use words. You can draw. You can point. You can ask for help in the way you can. There is always someone who will listen." Her mother placed a supportive hand on her shoulder, and Emily smiled, a real smile, the kind that lights up the face from the heart outward. After the event, families lined up to meet her. Some children hugged her. Some parents thanked her. Some just looked grateful for hope. The world had seen Emily as a victim, but that day they saw her strength, and that mattered. That mattered more than anything. Months passed. Life continued. Emily grew older. She learned to speak more freely about her feelings. She discovered a love for animals and decided she wanted to become a veterinarian. Max grew older, too, his face slowly dusted with white hairs, but his warmth never faded. The bond they shared remained strong, and every year, Emily and her mother visited the courthouse, not to relive the past, but to support others who needed courage. Emily would show them Max's signal. She would tell them her story. She would remind them that silence is not weakness, and truth can be spoken in many forms. Emily became a symbol of quiet bravery, and Max, her constant companion, remained the gentle heart who helped uncover the truth when she could not speak it. As their story spread across the internet and social platforms, many people were touched, inspired, and deeply moved. And if you are watching or listening to this story now, remember, courage does not always roar. Sometimes it is a hand, a signal, a quiet moment of connection. Sometimes it is just holding on until help arrives. And sometimes it is trusting that the truth deserves to be heard. If this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it so more people can see stories that inspire, heal, and give courage to those who need it most.